Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Ryan's Randoms. It's our second video of the day. Remember my son Liam? We were just getting started here. We decided to go ahead and do another video for you guys. So we're just gonna jump right into it. This video today we're gonna be talking about, this is my, I guess, kind of get home kit, if you will, survival type kit that I keep in my car with me. It stays in the trunk all the time. It's got quite a bit of different items in here that we're just going to go over. We're going to touch kind of somewhat briefly on. Just like my EDC kit, this is also somewhat fluid. It's going to change. I could add some things to it, take some things away from it. Matter of fact, there are some things that I will be adding to it that I'll kind of go over once we get to that point. But it's that I've ordered that'll be here in the next couple of days. So for right now though, we're just going to go over it. The first part is this case. I like it because it's relatively small, so it doesn't take up a ton of space in the trunk of my car. This is a MTN case guard. I think I got it for like $30 on Amazon. I liked it. It was an ammo crate, but I ended up come with it as a divided ammo crate, so I had two different divider slots in there that you could use for different types of ammo, things like that. I took the dividers out and used it for what I'm currently using it for. One of the reasons why I like it is the size of it. It's actually a very kind of a durable type plastic, but it's also got a weather gasket in there for waterproofing, things like that. And it latches up tight. It's got a few spots for locks if you wanted to. Some nice handles here on the side as well. So like I said, just a relatively small type box here, but enough that it holds enough of what I need for a survival kind of get home type situation should you need it. So like I said, this stays in my car all the time. Again, could be fluid, again, the seasons change, that type thing. Pulling stuff out, adding stuff to it, and then just adding stuff as I see the need for it. So that's it for the box. We're just gonna jump kind of right into it, and we'll go over what I've got in here. So as we start pulling some of this stuff out, just kind of lay it out here for you. So first up, I do keep a couple of these tarps in here. They're not very big. It's almost like a tent style tarp, but there are a few of them in here. Pull it all out. I keep them in here, obviously, for kind of obvious reasons. It'll make a really good shelter in a pinch. I think these are like 2x4, 2 foot by 4 foot, maybe 3x4s. It's not very big, but there are a couple of them in here. It would do in a pinch if I needed to, kind of create some sort of a makeshift shelter, anything like that in a rain type of event. So do keep a couple of those in there. They fold up nice and small, so they don't take up a whole lot of space. This here is an emergency blanket. But this is a heavy duty type blanket. It's got the foil lining for heat radiation. It's very durable. Matter of fact, this thing is probably a lot more rigid and durable than that tent tarp is there. Just the material that it's made out of. It's almost like an actual tarp that you use for stores, things like that. It does have a couple of these eye hooks here for staking down should you need to. So this could also be used to create some sort of a shelter, hang it over a line, something like that, to create sort of a lean-to type shelter, something else, or could just be used as its intended purpose, a emergency blanket, and it would be really good at holding that heat in because of that foil type liner for that. Go ahead.
So this is a just shovel. We use it camping, like survival. It's got.
So really you use it for a whole lot of stuff. Of course, obviously for the purpose you'd think of as a shovel. But there is a pickaxe part of it as well, and then the one side of it has a kind of serrated edge that you could use if you had to cut something as far as any type of tree branches, limbs, something like that. Handle kind of screws in half, or unscrews in half, and kind of hiding it behind that box. Again, it's kind of small, maybe somewhat cheap, in this scheme of things, but it does get the job done. As you can see, it's had some use in the past, so it does work as it's intended to work, and I like it because it is small. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space in this box. It folds up in this small little pouch here. It goes back together quite nicely and just fits in there pretty snug. So without taking up a ton of room, and it does, you get several functions out of that one tool there. So.
I was struggling to put that together.
We'll get it. We'll get that put back. We'll go over that in a minute. Next up, I do keep several of these ponchos in here. One is a kind of a little more of a heavy duty camo type, primarily used for like hunting, but I threw one in this pack because it is kind of a heavier duty type rain poncho, more of your traditional style raincoat material, but just a regular old poncho that you throw over you. So that'd be good to keep water off of you in a bind. And then of course just your cheap plastic ponchos. I think these are like 97 cents or something. So the purpose of it is just to keep water off of you in an emergency situation. So it's really all it's designed for. I wouldn't use it for much more than that, really. And then I keep this one in there just because it is designed for a little bit more heavy duty, a little more wear and tear. Of course, it'll hold up a lot better and be able to be used for more than one use, whereas these are more just a single type use. If you've ever used one, they are really thin, so it doesn't take much to rip these, tear them, something like that. So you use them once, and that's pretty much all it's good for. So, which is why I got this one in here for kind of a good primary use, maybe a good backup use, or vice versa.
This is a water bottle. It's mainly used for like just drinking water, but let's say there's a river and you're out of water, you could just fill it up, and it's nice because you can fill it up and put it over a fire or something, and it would essentially burn the bad things that are inside of the water. Many people say that it's better to really have a plastic one, but I feel like this is a better one because this has more than one uses other than instead of carrying more cups and other stuff like this.
Yep, exactly. So it doubles the purpose. It's just a water bottle, but also it's stainless steel. So like you said, you can throw it over a fire, boil the water that's inside of it, and then kind of let it cool off so you've got some clean, disinfected water that's already inside the water bottle. So instead of having multiple different things there, it kind of acts as one. It's personal preference really. If you want to have some water treatment tablets, a life straw, some sort of other water bottle in there, Grail makes a really good water bottle that I wouldn't mind upgrading to eventually. But for right now, this kind of serves the purpose of both of those at once. So I went ahead with the stainless steel option for water storage and for water purification. This here it's a survival kit that I keep in here. It was actually a gift to me, and I like it because it's got a lot of different things in here in this one container. The container itself is pretty durable too, and it's got one of those gaskets in there as well for sealing up. But in here, it's got a few different things. You've got some fishing line with a little lure, but there's a couple hooks and things like that in there as well. So you could, kind of rig up some sort of fishing pole if you had a stick or something like that. Able to find you, get your hands on some worms, something like that out in the dirt if you needed to. So that's in there. A rope chainsaw, or rope saw, excuse me. It's just one of those typical type rope chains where you just kind of wrap it around a log and you kind of pull from both sides and work that wire through there. does have a paracord bracelet. I typically wouldn't wear something like this unless I was in a survival situation. But it's kind of handy for a few different reasons. You'll notice here on this one end of the clasp is a little metal piece there with a serrated edge. And the reason for that is because on the opposite side of the lasp is a magnesium rod. So that is a fire starter if you needed to in a pinch. Compass on here, again, might work in a pinch if you needed it to. And then on here as well, this little piece sticks off is a whistle. Might be able to use in an emergency situation if you were trying to get some attention, something like that. So again, just extra little thing there on that bracelet. I think these are called a credit card multi-tool. Haven't really used one of these, but again, in an emergency situation, you might use something like this. It's got a few different spots for different wrench sizes. It's got like a bottle opener, I believe. There's a blade edge on this side, serrated edge running down here. So kind of a multi-purpose little tool there that you could use for it. I believe that's a strap for just a water bottle. You just hook that on your belt, stick a water bottle on it. Flashlight here. Lighting is a big thing, and I feel like you can't have enough flashlights, especially in an emergency situation. I do keep extra batteries in here as well that I keep with this, so I've got it because you never know when something's going to happen. And then you've got a kind of a tactical style ink pen, so it does have the traditional writing edge there. Nice little clip on it. Pretty heavy duty pen actually. And then on this end, this tip here is a glass breaker for in a window, car window, something like that. So something like that might be better off used in, say the glove box or something where you could get to it pretty quick if you had to, break the glass out of your car to try to get out quick if the doors were jammed shut, something like that. And then another ferro rod type fire starter. It's got the kind of rake style serrated edge there, and then of course it's pretty heavy duty rod. I haven't used this one a whole lot to know how well it works. Like I said, may work in a pinch. I haven't messed with it enough to really know how well that would function. Gotta eat, right? So in a survival situation, it's got a little bit of a fork style here on it. Of course, a spoon, and then the handle also doubles as a whistle. So again, in an emergency situation where you might be trying to get somebody's attention, that'd be good. And then here for keeping a fire going is this bellow tube. I feel like you probably use that for several different things. It's not very stout as far as rigidity of it, so of course probably would use it as like a weapon, but it is hollow through and through, so it'd be really good to keep a fire going, get some oxygen down low in a fire, and really keep that going. It extends too, which is nice. Keep your face away from the hot flames. Then a knife. Something else you can't have enough of is knives. I've got plenty of them in just about every kit that I keep. Hunting kits, one of these kits. My EDC kit, you saw I had a knife. I also carry a smaller knife on my person at all times. So you just never know when you're going to need one. This one here doesn't seem too bad. It's got kind of a quick spring action open there. It's got a seatbelt cutter here on this edge. Again, if you needed to, and then again another glass breaker up there as well. So not a bad kit to have. Kind of a lot in there, but I threw it in there. I just figured it'd be good to have all that stuff should you need it.
So in this, there is a little compass. So it's pretty big. It's got a little, I wouldn't say like screen type thing, but when you open it up, there's a little level. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's like a little water droplet there, and if that's center, you know like it's actually facing the right direction. And there's a little water droplet there to show it's like another level too. But you can turn it and stuff like depending on which direction you want to go. And there's a ruler on the side. This is inches, and then there's a centimeter ruler. I don't really know what this is. We didn't really figure out.
We'll
what that
do
is.
we'll do another video later on how to use a compass like this if you haven't before. To go along with that, I do have a map coming. I think it's good to have a map of the area that you live in. So for us here in North Carolina, the map we've got is the southeastern United States map, which will cover all the southeastern states as far as the roadways, things like that. So I feel like a good map is good to have on hand in a EMP type situation where all electronics are pretty much shot, something like that happens. It is good to have a compass, know how to use it in relation with a map as well. So we'll do another video later on the use of a compass with a map, maybe some sort of land navigation type video to just go over the basics of that. And then here too, I got just a few other kind of little odds and end things. Trash bag. Again, you just never know when you might need it. If nothing else, if you need it to lay on the ground while you're working on a car or something. If you need it for its intended use as a trash bag. Could be used for another poncho if you needed one. It's good to have that. Toilet paper, for obvious reasons. It's good to have just a little bit in here. It's not a ton, but again, it's enough to kind of get you home. This kit isn't designed necessarily for long-term type survival. Maybe in a try to get home type survival kit, something to last maybe a couple days to just get you through. So, and then some hand warmers. I keep a few of these in a lot of my packs because they are very good. I mean, it's more than just a hand warmer. If it's cold out, if you've got a sleeping bag, or if you're using one of these type of emergency blankets, just putting one or two of these in the sleeping bag with you, under the blankets with you, something like that will do a lot more than you might think in terms of creating heat inside of that small space. So having a few of these on hand is great. And then extra batteries. I've got AA's and AAA's here that I keep. I've just kind of got them bound together with some Velcro here. But extra batteries are good to have, different style flashlights, something like that. And then if you're able to get your hands on, maybe a piece of wiring or aluminum foil or something, if you needed to. If you've ever seen that trick on getting fire started by, just taking a piece of aluminum foil and going on each end of the battery, something like that. So definitely several different uses here. Heavy enough to you could throw at somebody as a weapon. But just kidding. But anyways, the batteries are definitely good to have on here. So
so duct tape, just a normal roll of duct tape. It's good for like, say this right here gets a hole or something from like, I don't know, you do something to it and it's raining and you want to have somewhere warm to stay, you just throw some duct tape over top of it, and it could be used for like wrapping, I don't know, like sticks or something together. Let's say you want to carry some sticks with you for firewood, wrap some duct tape around it. It's got really many uses for it. It can patch some stuff up.
pretty much good for anything you need it for. Holding stuff together, fixing stuff, like you said, maybe patching a hole in your tent temporarily, or your blanket, whatever the case is. So it's definitely got all kinds of uses, which is why I keep it in there. What else we got? Kind of back with this stuff here. Keep a pack of Kleenex tissues in there, again for obvious reasons. It's just nice to have something like that if you need it. A heavy duty trash bag as well as this smaller one. These bigger, heavier duty ones, probably a little more reliable for like a poncho or for laying on the ground or something like that. If nothing else, to get you up off the ground so you're not laying directly on the ground if you're in that type situation. So good to have one of those in there. Ziploc bags, kind of same thing. Really just to hold something if you needed to. I just got several. I think there's a few 1 gallon size, and I think folded up in here some of the quart sizes as well. It's just good to have some Ziploc bags in there should you need to hold something in if you're in a situation where you've got to get wet, going into the water for any reason. If you've got anything that you don't want to get wet, anything like that, might be good to be able to wrap it up in something like that and kind of keep it off of you. Zip ties, kind of the same thing as the duct tape. Zip ties come in handy for all sorts of stuff. Can be used for lashing to, if you're putting up a makeshift lean-to or something, might be good to kind of hold some of that stuff in place. If you're not able to find any kind of natural lashing, or if your paracord runs out, something like that. So it's good to have these on here, which leads me into the paracord. I usually keep a pretty good sized roll of 550 cord paracord in all my kits, and here in my hunting bags. Every kit I've got a roll of this in. The uses are almost unlimited with this. You can use it, run you a line, drape over one of these tarps, and you've kind of got yourself a little bit of a makeshift tent. Keep yourself out of the weather, kind of condense some of that heat if you're in a cold type situation. Use it as a clothesline, more or less. Hang up your stuff that gets wet to dry out. It's the options are almost endless with this. So definitely almost a must-have in any type of survival type kit that you've got, is to have some of this 550 cord in there. Let's see what else we got. So, as you all know, any type of survival thing, probably one of the biggest and best things that's going to go in any one of your kits that should almost always be with you all the time, if you have one, is any kind of firearm that you've got. Mine stays with me always, so which is why it's not in this kit. It's because it's something I'm always going to have on me regardless of where I'm at, what I'm doing.
And we don't get in trouble.
Right. But I'm always going to have that on there on my person, so it's always going to be with me. But with that is always going to be in my kits is extra ammo for that. So I do keep a box in every one I've got, just to have. It's good to have. You never know when you're going to need it. Never know when you're going to run out. Certainly don't want to be in a situation where you run out and then you're not needing it. So it's good to have some extra ammo in there with that.
So here it's just a really stiff cord.
So what he's got here, this is my fire kit. This here is just a little bag that came with, if you watched my previous video, the external power bank, the battery that I had. This is what came with it. I didn't really need that anymore, and I felt like this was a pretty good repurpose of this bag. This is my fire kit. So in here, everything he's going to go over is all about making fire, which is huge for any type of survival situation. It's good for keeping you warm, for light, for keeping animals, things like that away, drying you out if you get wet, stuff like that. So the benefits of having fire are almost endless: cooking food, boiling water, anything like that. So this is all fire making kit right here.
So this cord. I don't know what this is for.
So this here, it's wrapped on this cord. This is like a hemp style cord, and it's coated in a wax, which is very flammable should you need it. And then there's a couple of them in here, and it's in this hard plastic tube, which again could be used as a bellow, which is the purpose of it. Again, if you have one of these that extends, kind of keep your face a little bit more away from the flames, things like that, that's better. But in a pinch, something like this could help as far as getting any type of oxygen to the bottom of that fire and really keeping it going. So that's what both of these are, is that hemp style rope cordage with, it's coated in a kind of a heavy duty wax that's extremely flammable.
So what I've got here is a leather striker, like a striker and a striker rod, which what is nice about this is it's got like a serrated dip, bottle opener, be used for more. There's a little ruler on this side. This side, I think, yeah, that's centimeters on this side, and this is inches. But it's just a simple striker rod. It's now this wooden handle. There's some rope if like you ever run out of that or something and you need extra, you can just untie it. That there's this. These are really flammable. Like if you have a little metal stove in your kit or something,
Okay.
you could use one of those for like a little fire, like to get a fire going to cook some food or heat up some water, like we said earlier in that water bottle. It's simple. You can cut little pieces off if you just need to get a quick fire going. If you're like really cold or it's like raining, you want to get a quick fire before it starts pouring down rain. It's just something small and quick to use. Then there's a simple Bic fire lighter. Jeez, a Bic lighter. Like we said in the last video, he's got one of these in his other pack, which are good for, like he said, he doesn't smoke, which I don't.
Better not.
I can't. I'm not saying I'm going to, but it could be used to start a quick fire, like with this, or the hemp cord, which you can like rub like pieces off of it, and it's easy to light. But these are good, but mostly I would use the striker rod and stuff if this was either wet or I didn't have one of these, which I most likely will. I would mostly use this if anything, because it's quick, it's easy. So that's really it.
Okay. I do keep just a blanket here that I've got kind of folded up pretty tight so it fits nicely. And I mean, I know I got the emergency blanket, but something like this would go a long way with making you comfortable in a survival situation. Even if it was something as simple as it was the dead of winter, your car broke down, you're in somewhere you don't have cell service or anything like that. Something like this, cotton blanket will go a long way with keeping your body warm. Maybe not the most comfortable thing, but it would keep you warm enough to get you through in an extreme situation.
So here I have a little, I couldn't figure out how to get it over, handsaw, which kind of self-explanatory, other than you can cut limbs down, like to start a fire, or I wouldn't say you could cut down an entire tree, but like if...
I mean, depending on the size of the tree, I mean, you could probably get you, 5-6 inch tree cut down with it. But yeah, he's right, it is more for just kind of cutting down limbs and stuff. I got like this one because it does fold up, so it doesn't take up a ton of space in here. Of course, they have bigger ones, some of them maybe a little bit better too. But for that one there, I mean, it's no more than maybe 8 inches long. And it folds up nicely, so it fits in a nice pack. Doesn't take up a lot of space. I like it too because the handle on it is somewhat stout, really, for how small this thing is. It's got a nice grip to it, so you build a rubber grip too. So as you're sawing stuff down, that'd be really, really handy.
It's got this little safety switch. So let's say you accidentally grab it and you don't know that's there, and your hand just moves over and you go back to that spot. You don't want to cut your hand. So this is really nice because let's say you have it out and you have kids or something. They have to put actually a lot of pressure on that to actually get it open. Other than that, you kind of can't pull it out. You can get maybe that out, but that you can't really get to the tip.
Okay. And then we got just more knives and stuff, which again are almost should be in just about every pack you've got. But I keep a hatchet in here as well. This in here's got a pretty sharp point on the end of it, and it's got a pretty decent edge on it. It's not like the most heavy-duty type hatchet, but it is something that I keep in here. It's got a pretty thick backbone there. It does keep a relatively nice edge too, and then again you got a kind of a pick at this side of it too, which is relatively sharp as well. So just something if you need it to cut down any wood, trees, anything like that, or for just about anything else you might need a hatchet for. So.
So here, there's a little knife, there's cord on it, like it could be used just like the other cord could be used to tie something down. Gosh, it's got 2 safeties. Got that also in the clip. But nice little sharp knife, it's got a little serrated edge. There's a little thing, I really like to hold it kind of like there, which is usually how I hold my knives when I'm cutting something or like whittling. It's pretty thin, which is nice because it's small too. It's got a pretty small case. It comes with a dowel rod, which don't know how good it is. Haven't used it.
A ferro rod. You said dowel rod. It's wood.
It looks like it. So there's this little rod. There's like a little, if you look, there's a...
Yeah. So what he's talking about is, so there is a kind of a metal rod that runs through here, and then this outer edge is all the magnesium. So you'll scrape that off, and then this metal part here is more the striker for it. So you can, shave off some of that onto your fire, and then use that as a striker to strike that flame onto it. This last knife here is one that's pretty new to my collection, but I wanted to add it on here. It does have a fair amount of extra cordage on the handle. Got a couple spots here. Honestly, you could add probably a couple more ferro rods if you wanted to, or just about anything else. But I do like this knife. It is a solid tang, so it goes all the way through. So it's all one piece with the handle bolted in around it. But I don't know if you can tell on that, but that backbone there is incredibly thick. And the edge itself does keep a really nice edge. But I like that thick backbone. Something like that you could use if you were trying to split wood or something, and you kind of got it started. You could take another piece, and it's a thick enough backbone that you could feel comfortable enough kind of hitting that thing down to split that wood without worrying about damaging that knife too much. So that's why I do like that knife in this pack.
So here is just a small little med kit, which is...
So this here, I got this kit. Any first aid kit that you're gonna have, you can tailor to your needs, to kind of what you see. First aid kits you can buy a dime a dozen. You can buy some of the more expensive ones. You can put your own together, which is kind of what I did here. I did buy a somewhat cheap kit from affordable from Academy Sports, I believe it was. Honestly, the primary reason I bought this kit was just because of the pouch. I like the pouch. I like that it was red. So if I need it in a hurry, as soon as I open this kit, I know which one I'm grabbing because it's red. It stands out, whereas everything else you can tell is kind of darker colored. So this stands out pretty quick, and it's not a bad little pouch either. But again, I added some more stuff to it. Took some of the stuff that was in here out. Again, altered it to what I felt was comfortable enough. So I'll let him kind of start going through it, and I'll just jump on in.
So here you got
trauma shears. You were about to call them scissors, weren't you? They're trauma shears. And again, these did not come with the kit. I ended up adding those to it, but you never know when you're gonna need trauma shears. They'll cut a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Clothing, shoes, anything like that. So good to have in a first aid kit.
So here you got yourself.
I'll go over that in a second because that goes with this. Go ahead.
You got yourself like a double-sided pair of tweezers, which if you think about it, because there's this little tip. Okay. But like he said in his other video, he really likes the skinny ones, like the pointed ones, because easy to get splinters out and just anything really. You can get yourself a pair of
the cheap tweezers that came with the kit.
Yeah, like a pair of plastic tweezers. here you got yourself a little pair of smaller scissors. I almost called them. But you could use these like he had a sewing kit, and like you sew something and you just cut it off easily with those. Here, super glue. I really like because I grew up with a grandpa who used that for like almost most injuries because it covers that up so it doesn't get infected, and you can actually get to like a doctor or something, so it's there.
I've used super glue on a lot of cuts as well. I know some people, there's basically a version of super glue out there for medical purposes. I think it's called New Skin. Super glue is essentially the same thing. I've used it on a lot of stuff that I maybe needed stitches for, but ended up kind of cleaning the wound out and then super gluing it if it's not big enough, and just doing it that way. So that's why I keep super glue in my first aid kit as well. This here is something, well, yeah, we'll think of tape, gauze tape. This here is something else that I added to it. This is a tourniquet, which, you know, it's one of the aftermarket style tourniquets. Of course, I'm sure everybody watching this probably knows what a tourniquet is. But if not, it is more or less a strap designed to keep pressure either under or below a wound, depending on where it's at, to prevent blood flow to that wound.
Which, if you've seen like any of the Marvel series, Captain America, he has a shield, right? And if you watched the Endgame, if you haven't, I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'm just saying, like he tightens his shield onto his arm, and that's to stop the blood flow to that area.
Yep. So yeah, a tourniquet is what he created with his own shield. But yeah, so that's what this is for. This strap is relatively long, so it can be used on, you know, a lot of different size wounds, and then it's got a built-in kind of more or less tension rod, if you will, for it. So once you get this thing pulled down tight, you can basically just spin this until it gets even tighter around that wound to prevent the blood flow. It did come with a marker as well. I think this kit was I think $6, $7 on Amazon or something, so it wasn't a whole lot more to add to this. But there's a time on here because obviously you don't. This is not a long-term fix to any type of trauma wound. So having this little Sharpie wheel to write the time on it is beneficial. That way, once you get either yourself or whoever it is you're helping work on to first responders, EMTs, things like that, they know how long that tourniquet's been on there. That way, they know, you know, how to kind of gauge their treatment accordingly based on that. So having one of these on here, again, you know, $6 little add-on to the kit, I feel is worth having something like this in any first aid kit.
So here I have a lot of like medical wipes just to clean out like any wounds, like if you fall on like concrete or something, like if you were a kid and you fell on concrete, and you can just clean that out, simple. There's a few here. Actually,
yeah, we don't have to go through the rest of the stuff. It's all kind of your typical first aid stuff in here. You'll see it's kind of what he was getting ready to go over. So we've got different size band-aids here, alcohol wipes, antiseptic wipes. There's some antibiotic ointment, some anti-itch cream I keep in here, several size gauze pads and stuff back in here as well, Q-tips, gloves as well, just, you know, nitrile gloves for obvious reasons. In trauma situations, you're dealing with blood and things like that. And then, of course, I'm not going to show it here on YouTube, but in behind here is I keep a post-it note that I've got all my emergency contact phone numbers listed. So it's got, you know, if an emergency situation, if somebody needed to get a hold of somebody, likelihood is I'm already going to have this kit probably out where I've been trying to work on myself or somebody else, and these phone numbers are in here. Plus it helps too because I know in today's age there's not many phone numbers that I've got memorized. I don't know about the rest of you, but everything is in my phone. So if for whatever reason I couldn't get to my phone, or it was dead, or I just didn't have access to that stuff, it is nice to have it on here. That way I could reach out to someone I needed to once I was able to get to any type of phone or something like that. So that's that's our kind of bug out / get home kit. Again, this stays in my trunk, so a lot here. Like I said, it's, you know, we'd love to hear your comments, see your suggestions on things that we should maybe add, do differently, you know, kind of get your thoughts on it. But keep in mind, a kit like this is going to be tailored to your specific needs. Like this one's kind of tailored to mine. But again, I mean, we're open to suggestions. You know, if you guys got any questions on anything, definitely reach out to us. We'd love to see the comments on, you know, what you guys have in your kits, stuff like that. Anything else. So if you've enjoyed our video, hit that like button, subscribe button, leave a comment for us, let us know what you guys think, and until then, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you guys.